today's spooky spot. We're going to be having a look at another June planning, A Nightmare Before Christmas figure. Today we're going to be having a look at the Series 1 Dr. Finkelstein, the mad scientist in the movie. And also one of the side villains of the story. Certainly he is a bit of a bane, I guess, to Sally. Now he includes two halves to his brain. Of course, the figure, the wheelchair, and a blueprint or schematic that we'll get into in a second. The packaging is probably one of the nicest. I commented a couple of times, I really like the packaging. I won't say too much here, but one thing June Planning has done really well is definitely their packaging. On the back of the package, the other figures that you can get in the Series 1 lineup is Jack Skellington, the Mayor, Pumpkin King, the Vampire Brothers, Behemoth, and Sally. The read-up says Dr. Finkelstein, the town's evil scientist, can make anything. He created Sally, and he builds the skeleton reindeer for Jack. A mad genius, he thinks by opening his skull and tickling his brain. His brains, I guess as it were. Separate wheelchair and Finkelstein apparently is a feature. Let's zoom in, shall we? Separate wheelchair and Finkelstein. Open, close, head cover, and brains are separately, with accessory of reindeer design. There is Finkelstein. Now, what we are going to do is we'll get this out of package, and we are going to have a look at Dr. Finkelstein. More terrifying review to come, my friends. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. It would seem that Dr. Finkelstein has fallen and he can't get up. We'll help him in a second. Let's have a look at the other accessory that he comes with. He comes with the skeleton reindeer design blueprint. It's on a plastic, so it's not on paper, which is really good. I think the Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the list, if you remember the Christmas spot that I did, Mixing Holidays spot, but the Christmas list was on just regular paper, and I said that they should have just put it on a plastic. This is a prime example of how they should have done it. It's a bit of fragile plastic, but at least it's on something as other than paper. The sketching and everything else is really cool. I don't know where you would display it. It doesn't have a display stand or anything like that. It would I guess you would just have to lay it against the shelf wherever you had the figures displayed. But it's kind of neat. I like that. And put that aside. All right, let's help up the poor doctor here. Unfortunately, he has fallen because the way he's designed, he can do only two things. He can basically lay crippled on the ground, or you can put him in his wheelchair. There is no articulation to allow him to stand straight up, but it's to be expected. Let's zoom into his face now. We got the really nice detail work on the face of Dr. Finkelstein. Mad scientist. As mentioned, his head can open up. Just open it up here like so. And you got to be very careful. I'm finding one thing with Finkelstein. Luckily, this just snaps into place, like so. One thing I'm finding with him, especially the wheelchair, and I'll get into that in a second, is it's extremely fragile. He comes with two pieces of a brain, and the brain is really nicely painted. Nicely sculpted and definitely nicely painted. We're going to put the brain on one side there. I guess it doesn't really matter what side's what. And the other piece of his brain. Put that in there as well. And you've got Finkelstein's full exposed brain. We'll just close the latch, or you could leave it open, depending on how you want it displayed. Close the latch. Now it doesn't sit perfect. There is going to be a slight gap where you're going to see that brain. And it doesn't seem to be really a way around that. But I mean, it's all right. It's fine, really. Now, in the way of the doctor's articulation, he has a swivel in the neck, There appears to be no articulation in the head. There is a swivel in the arm. You can bend at the elbow. No articulation in the hands because they are such small hands. There is a swivel in the waist. I guess that would be his waist. And there seems to be no articulation aside from his feet. There seems to be no articulation in the legs or anything like that. You could kind of have him scratching his brain, really, if you wanted to. But again, this latch on his head keeps wanting to come off. I don't have the NECA, Nightmare Before Christmas figures, that I can compare the two. But perhaps Finkelstein has the same problem with that figure that he has in this figure with the June planning version. Snap that back into place. So you could actually have him scratching his head, if you will. Did I forget to mention? I might have forgotten to mention he has swivel in the glove area as well. So you can kind of have him scratching his brain if you'd like. Let's put him down. His brains are going to go. His brains are everywhere. Let's have a look at his wheelchair. His wheelchair is really nice, but it is so fragile. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the sound, my friends, as fragile plastic. If you're not careful, this could easily snap. There's a couple of areas on here that could easily snap. The back area here could snap. And I think even like the handles here can snap. But the wheelchair is nice. It rolls, as you would hope it would. He's even got levers on the sides that can move as well. Really nice. I like it. Now we can take the poor doctor here. Let's get his wheelchair in place. Get his brains back in his head. Just like so. And we'll place him onto his wheelchair. Without making a mess of ourselves. Let's not make a mess of his brains now, shall we? There we go. One thing also is a little apparent. Is the fact that the wheelchair seems top heavy, or it seems to fall forward quite easily. I don't know if there's a way to necessarily lock the wheelchair into place. I don't think there is. Maybe we got it right there. Mind you, his brains are still a mess. That's what happens, my friends. When you have your head open, you got your brains exposed. You're just going to be making a mess. There's a good chance. See, it just happened there. His brains are all over the place. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just close the head back up. We don't need any more spilt brains all over the place. I like the doctor. The wheelchair I'm really concerned with. It seems very fragile. And the fact that it keeps teetering over is not also a good sign. I would definitely say it's this kind of thing is only really suited for an adult collector. Sure, you could give it to a kid, but you know, kids may necessarily want to play with this. I don't know how well this would hold up, but as a collectible, as something just to put on display, Dr. Finkelstein looks really cool, and I'm going to give him a terrifying 7.5. Today's Spooky Spot, we're looking at the June Planning Series 1 Nightmare Before Christmas figures, and today we're having a look at Dr. Finkelstein. I thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Spooky Spots to come, and I'll see you guys next time.